Oh, here it is. 63.
What?
Live stream is starting soon. It's probably going to start in like
Live starting.
live starting.
That's like the last step. Yeah, there it's live now.
Oh,
Fucking live.
I love it when
Fucking live.
podcasts are live.
I love it when podcasts go live. Could we get fucking, or I guess we can't mention what his name is,
Oh,
but at the very least, if we could get in the fucking chat while listening or watching.
you mean one of the people I just asked?
Yeah,
Which one? The one from C?
the one who thought he was a mod, but he's never been in one of our podcasts yet.
I mean, Nice Mod.
Is that who Nice Mod is?
I asked him. Yes, I did ask him. He says that the walls are too thin. He can't fucking
All he
actually.
has to do is type. Are you saying it's too fucking quiet to
You know
type?
what? I fucking who gives a shit.
Just say listen to the fucking podcast, and if you feel like saying anything,
All right, yeah.
type
You know
it to
what?
you.
I can fucking. All right, hold on. Let's see. All right, I said if he has any thoughts, he can fucking send me in the Skype chat, but he doesn't actually have to. Is it? Oh, it's midnight. Yeah, it's past midnight. After midnight, I would be letting it all hang down. We still have to do a show with Forge where fucking him and us do like a live watching of like a MST episode, Riding with Death or something. Oh, it's so good. It's sort of like what I did with person, female person that I lost my virginity to.
Who you raped
Yes, who I raped. The woman that I raped in real life.
just to try it.
Yeah, just to try it. And I liked it. It's fucking. And, yeah, I introduced her to that episode of MSTVK, Riding with Death. And she liked it. And then I raped her. And she liked it. And I liked it slightly less than she liked being raped. She loved being raped. Holy shit. Was she into being raped? But on today's episode, we were thinking about talking about one of the actually strangely more overlooked episodes in the kind of flagging series that's still popular, Final Fantasy. What's considered by true
Spoony
experts.
Two actually had a comment about that if they're gonna save the
Spooning
series,
too.
Spoony Two, if they're gonna
By oh,
save the series.
wait. If by Spoony 2 you mean Razor Fist.
Oh, is that what I meant?
Razor Fist.
Holy fuck!
Spoony didn't do any fucking shit about this, did he? You know what? I've never seen not Spoonie or Razor Fist ever do a video, or anyone like them do a video about Final Fantasy VI, which it's called Final Fantasy VI because it's the sixth in the series. In America, it was Final Fantasy III, but in America, it skipped. Like Final Fantasy One was on the Nintendo, two was on the Super Nintendo, three was on the Super Nintendo, and then seven was the next game to come out, and everyone was like, "Oh, Final Fantasy Seven. What happened to the other games?" And it turns out, Final Fantasy
Yeah,
two,
it's locking
three, and
on.
five sucked a fucking cock. They were shitty games. They were not good games. Um,
And nine.
Final Fantasy. Oh fuck! What the fuck happened? No.
This was easier.
You know what, Final Fantasy? I've heard Final Fantasy 9 is actually good, but it's the one I've never played because the one that came before it was Final Fantasy 8, which is
An
I can't.
atrocity.
You can't even say that it's not the worst in the series because apparently Final Fantasy 13 and that kind of shit. Final Fantasy VIII sucks. Final Fantasy 13 sucks. Final Fantasy 11 was an MMO, so it might as well fucking go to hell.
Yeah,
Um,
not just suck, but it's like worse than just sucking.
Literally worse than the Holocaust.
Literally Hitler.
Here's the thing about Final Fantasy VI is that in America, Final Fantasy 1 came out, which was a Nintendo game, just tons of grinding. Insane amounts of grinding, even for a JRPG. Just fucking insane. It was meant to last. That's what was the purpose of it. And then it became kind of a hit, at least in Japan, and it was kind of a hit in America, especially because I think Nintendo Power gave away free copies of Final Fantasy 1 with like subscriptions or something. So it was kind of a hit there too. And by there I mean here. But fucking Final Fantasy 2 in America was the like an early Super Nintendo RPG, and it was excellent actually because it had a lot of grinding, but it was very heavy on the story in the same way like. And if you're old, you'll remember Chrysalis.
Yeah.
Chrysalis was an excellent. It was like Legend of Zelda.
It was an actual action RPG.
Yes, it was an action sort of adventure RPG. Excellent fucking music. Excellent. I would still say it's an excellent game, but it's very obtuse with the fucking trying to figure out the mysteries and the fucking puzzles but like one of the earliest puzzles is not really a puzzle, but finding the gas mask. You have to go out of one like the second town in the game, second actual real full town in the game, which is after a huge fucking dungeon. And
Oops.
a huge boss fight. Do you remember any of that shit?
Yeah.
Fucking because the first town in the game is like you come right out of the intro into the first town in the game, and everyone's like, "Who the fuck are you, motherfucker?" And
Literally how they fucking talk to
yes,
him.
yeah, we're talking about Crystalis for the Nintendo Entertainment System. It actually came out in 1990. I was surprised to find that out.
Yeah.
I was going to say like 1986.
But then we
No,
would have been in like probably third to fourth grade.
yes. But yeah, Crystalis, fucking bizarre game. Let me close this fucking door. But yeah, bizarre game, and I would say very Zelda-like, but it was like it was like an advancement on Zelda. It was better than Legend of Zelda. It was like Legend of Zelda 3: A Link to the Past for the Nintendo. It was exactly like that, but it had a leveling system. It had other bizarre
The
systems.
level cap was only 16.
16, yes. Ah, fucking, just even think about that makes me love the game. But it's a very obtuse game. You need a walkthrough. If you're going to play it today, you need a walkthrough. But you can do it. And it's very atmospheric. It's got a lot of atmosphere. It's got a lot of character to it. And the main character that you play is a silent protagonist. But aside from the silent protagonist, there's a lot of other people in the game that have like characters. I remember it was the first game I ever played where you go to a fucking village and you talk to the people there, and it's like, oh, dude. And then you go out to another area and you come back to the village. It was like in the mountains, snowy mountains area. And you come back and everyone is dead. And you fucking like talk to them. You could try and talk to them and they don't say anything because they're dead, except for one person who's like, oh, the fucking evil empire attacked while you were gone. And we're fucking all dead now. And the guy dies while he's fucking talking to you. And it's like, holy shit. It's actually dramatic and shit. And it was like 10 or 9, 10 or 11 at the time. I think we were 10. 10 years old at the fucking time. And it was really incredible. It was bizarre because I've never seen that in a game before. Because the other games, just were Mario, fucking jump around in platforms, rescue, squash fucking enemies, pick up the shell, kick it into other enemies. It's fun. But Chrysalis was like an actual story, more even than fucking Legend of Zelda. And even more than fucking even Final Fantasy, because Final Fantasy was just a story about like, oh, they kidnapped the princess, you go rescue, and it's like, oh, you have to travel back 400 years in time to to fight chaos or some shit. It's just stupid, really. But it's a fucking JRPG that's really about grinding, sort of like Dragon Warrior, also known as Dragon's Quest, which is like, who gives a shit? They were shitty games. The Dragon Warrior games were shitty games. They were boring. They were not even as action packed or interesting or dynamic as Final Fantasy.
Are you
Final
talking about
Fantasy,
Dragon Quest?
yeah, Dragon Quest, also known as Dragon Warrior, as we knew them.
Also known as bunch of bullshit. I remember that was the
Shit.
game where you had the option at the end of joining the bad guy.
Yeah, and if you did, he killed you and you lost.
It erases your save and shit.
Yeah, it was fucking insulting. Um, anyways, yeah, so that was Final Fantasy 1, was basically like that. It was like that, but in just sort of different fucking layout. It was pretty boring. It didn't make that same mistake as fucking Dragon Warrior. Dragon Warrior was trying to fucking trick you. It's trying to be like, good. I don't think it deleted your save, but in order to get to the final boss, was it like a huge dungeon, and each square
I
was
don't
like
remember
something
doing it
exponentially.
myself, but I remember I think it
No,
was our friend
no,
who
we
had the
never.
game.
I literally never played Dragon Warrior ever. We just watched a
I
friend
know I
play it.
played it.
We tried to, and it was just. But the fucking thing is that they released every Dragon Warrior game on the Nintendo in America. Fucking Dragon Warrior 1, 2, and 3 in fucking America on the Nintendo. And then the Super Nintendo came out, and they fucking never released another one of those. And it turns out they were still releasing them in Japan because they're still big, but they were just bombing horribly because they were shitty games. They were boring because everything that's wrong with Japanese RPGs, the grinding, just having to grind all the way to the end. It's
Graphics were atrocious.
worse than an MMO grind. Worse than an MMO grind. Like, you fucking talk about EverQuest, the grind in that fucking is wonderful
In
compared.
comparison.
Yes, in real life, for sure. Just so much slower. Like, even Earthbound, the grind was easier and better.
Oh,
And it fucking
here's a
worked.
cutscene. What am I gonna do? I pulled the pin out. He's just
I'm
bouncing
not
it in
actually
his
watching.
hand.
I'm not
This
watching.
is stupid.
Are you watching the fucking
This is stupid.
fight?
This is stupid.
Oh yeah, now I'm seeing it. It's funny how much better the texture is on the fucking. Yeah, he's bouncing the grenade in his hand over and over again, and then he looks at the tank. Ugh. Oh yeah, instead of throwing it into the fucking hatch,
Which is all you're able to do in the game normally anyway.
yes, which is in real life. That's the realistic version. Oh
Man,
fuck.
Snake is a huge dick in this game.
Yeah, and then the pin drops in real life, and it's fucking just stupid.
He throws it down the muzzle of
Oh,
the
the guy's,
gun.
yeah, he throws it down the barrel of the tank. Oh, and then the guy's on fire and he punches him. That's so much more brutal and evil. Murderer. Murderer. This is very much like a different director, but it's a director who doesn't give a shit.
I remember hearing about this. It's like some Japanese director who made
Fucking Nice Mod says I played Dragon Warrior 1 from start to finish like last year. It fucking sucks, he says. Which here's the thing is that it's just dated, but even dated, I remember fucking just being annoyed and it sucked. It was boring, it was
yeah,
slow.
even when it was new.
Yes,
The
even
only thing
when
it
it
had
was new.
going for it was the cute slimes.
Also, the fact that it was different from any, it was more robust. It had more difference. It had more shit. It had more variety than any other Nintendo game because RPGs were something that didn't actually exist yet. except on the PC. And if you played a PC, you had to know how to manage
Well,
all that
then still,
computer
you
shit.
got like fucking what was fuck? Oh, you motherfuckers! What was that other River City Ransom? River City Ransom, one of the best games
Yes,
ever fucking made. It's got an
yes.
RPG style stat system.
But that was so highly experimental that no one else knew how to even manage it. And in order to save it, you had to have that password system. So they thought. So they fucking thought. And they didn't understand that you didn't actually need it. Oh, there's fucking lockers. There's lockers right
Okay,
there.
I'm walking slowly. He's still able to hear the sounds of me walking. Apparently,
Well, you did walk on some metal grates. But anyways.
slowly, which means that
Oh, yeah.
he cannot
Yeah.
hear me.
Just saw that. You're right. I would walk over and just snipe him with a fucking M9. Or can you not fire?
I'm
Do
trying
they
to hold
disable
him
your
up.
guns? Did they disable your guns? Do they?
Yep, yep. They disabled all my guns.
I
Just
would just hit the elevator. Just hit the fucking. I'm watching you like 10 seconds behind on this shit.
what the fuck?
We can still punch him, right?
And too late, too late, too late. Did you see how I couldn't see him?
In
Did you
a
see how I couldn't see
in
him?
a PC game, you would absolutely. Oh fuck yeah! I did.
Guess what else happened now that shouldn't have happened? Apparently they're pumping poison gas into the fucking room. So I
No,
can't walk anywhere.
it literally put.
And I can't
Guys,
fucking see. I can't walk, I can't see, I can't
you
hold up
have
guards, I can't shoot guards.
you don't have a gas mask in this game, do you?
No. Why would I have a gas mask?
Yeah, you're probably
Oh,
just.
that's right, there was a gas mask in this. Where's the fucking gas mask?
Well, there was a gas mask in Metal Gear Solid One, or Metal Gear One, but yeah,
This
fucking.
is completely fucked. In the original game, this was not so fucked.
Well, they still didn't let you
They
fire in
fucked
this
this
room.
up.
I remember that. I do remember
I
that.
do remember that, but there was also only like one guard. This is on easy difficulty, by the way.
Yes.
This is on
Yes.
easy fucking difficulty.
You have to so calm. Who cares? I fucking yeah. It's just like what? Who gives a shit? Fucking fuck this. Fuck the world. Fuck Suit
Yeah, I'd
Dummy.
rather be
Moon.
playing. Fuck all the old wood. Fuck the moon. I'd rather be playing Mario Sunshine.
Oh yeah, we could play that, but fucking you would just play it. But for anyone who doesn't know, this is Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes for the fucking Nintendo GameCube. A game that almost no one played, and we have actually never played. I've never played this game, and you haven't either.
We played the original Metal Gear Solid
Yes,
1
Metal.
about 10 trillion times.
I've played Metal Gear Solid so many times. I was able to beat it in literally only a couple hours. Oh shit. But yeah, it's fucking like Metal Gear Solid was so easy, especially after you beat it like
Move,
once or
move.
twice. After you beat it once or twice, it just gives you the stealth camo. It's like here you go, stealth camo, no problem. But in this is the Metal Gear Solid 2 engine. Holy shit.
Fucking dicks.
Holding people up in this game is like fucking stupid. I wouldn't even
He
hold
didn't
them
even
up for
drop a
anything. Yeah,
fucking
just
thing. He didn't even drop anything.
yeah. It's like fucking. Can't you just tap them on the ass or something? Oh, that's right.
Nope.
That's in fucking Peace Walker. Just a superior game.
Well, you could also do that in 3. Okay, they're not even dropping items.
Just shoot them. Shoot these fucking faggots.
Well, they gave me a
But
SOCOM bullet even though I can't fucking...
whoa,
How the fuck did that guy even see me? What the fuck?
he's coming around, isn't he?
I think that camera, right... I've never seen a camera mounted there, especially on easy. Do they not fucking remember? I'm playing this on easy so I don't have to memorize this shit. Oh, he's going for the thing. It seems like I am moving in slow motion because the game is running like shit. The rest of the game is running in double speed.
Oh shit. That fucking cucks.
Yeah, I can't do anything. I can't do anything here.
He saw one of the.
I can't do
looks
any
like
of this.
He saw one of the fucking guards. He saw one of the knocked out guards.
He saw one of the guards, but that's not the reason why he came after the guard. He
Oh,
came
there
after
is.
the guard because
There's a
he
camera. You're right.
somehow heard me walking.
I'm like 20 seconds behind on you and shit. Hit the fucking fuck. I'm looking at you on the fuck. Oh, you hit it twice. There's two basements. Holy shit. This is straight out of fucking Miggles too. Anyways, um, fucking Final Fantasy. So yeah, Final Fantasy One was just as shitty. I like the marble floors on
Can't
this.
shoot any of the walls.
Final Fantasy One was like, just old grinding, just fucking the old ordinary, just nothing was happening in the game. It was a shitty story, but I don't have a problem with that. Oh fuck. Oh, that system still works. That's weird. Did he drop a dog tag? He dropped a dog tag.
Yeah.
Do you get
Books, I
anything with a
forgot.
dog tag? That's so
I forgot
weird.
that books existed.
Books exist. At least you don't have to go into your fucking. Oh, the toilet paper was pulled off the fucking roll. That was weird. Whatever though. Whatever the fuck ever. Anyway, za.
I wonder if I can hold up Meryl while she's patrolling out here. She'd probably just run away.
Go ahead and try. I guess. Is she here? Is that her?
No, she's not. Use the fucking Nikita. I guess I'm gonna need the Nikita soon.
Eh.
I've completely forgotten about the entire sequence. These lockers were not here earlier.
Yeah, I kind of like the concept of them adding the fucking lockers and adding a little something. I would have liked that when I played this game. The only problem is the fucking cutscenes are so retarded. But then again, you don't really need to give a shit or pay attention to them.
Oops.
Yeah,
I keep
just
hitting.
punch after
I
another.
keep hitting the real buttons and forgetting that I have to play with the GameCube settings.
The gay cube settings, but um,
The square button is to duck, and the X button is
wow,
to
that is
shoot.
fucked. That
And
is
then the
fucked.
triangle button's to put your gun away.
We barely played Final Fantasy One. I remember that, but Final Fantasy Two,
I think I got up to the part with the pirates,
yeah, that was just painful.
and
Final Fantasy
and I
Two.
beat them, and then there were giants, or there was something after the pirates that was like even more
Well,
fucking
yeah,
impossible.
on the ocean, you had to actually fight ocean monsters, and in a way, that's like
Yeah, like
almost like
sharks and shit.
it's almost like Fallout, where you could accidentally travel into areas that were way out of your level. But in Fallout, it's like just makes so much more sense. It's like because Fallout says like, okay, go here. This is where you're supposed to go next. And if you travel out that way, you'll fucking wander against fucking super mutants and shit.
Yeah, super
Like, oh
mutants and
shit.
like dog or
But you're
fucking.
also encouraged to fucking save often. So it's like, who gives a shit?
Well, even then, I mean, it's
Nuke building? Yeah, who gives a fuck? Anyways, so Final Fantasy 2, can you talk about that while I have to piss?
Are we talking about Final Fantasy II Japan? Because I never played that. I played like all of the other games. I played Final Fantasy. Ugh. Here's the part where I have to use the Nikita missile. I remember this now. I have to blow up the panel. And in 4, this is you can use this to blow up a gecko. It's like the only use for that fucking faggy little gay roller skating robot. Why does the panel come out here? Well, whatever. Yeah, just fucking pull out the Nikita. Nikita. Not forced to take a codec call. By the way, yeah, Final Fantasy. Wait, yeah, hold on a fucking second. Yeah, I'm dying of poison gas. I remember there's a gas mask in here. Oh shit. Looks like they forced me into first person for the Nikita missiles. Let's see if I can blow up these cameras first. Oh, the cameras are shooting at me. Yeah, it looks like I can hold my breath by constantly hammering triangle. Yep,
You know what
I can
really
hold.
needs to be mentioned more than anything? More than anything is that Metal Gear Solid 4 was like a giant portion of it was made for like the fans that went all the way back to Metal Gear Solid 1. And we were fans of Metal Gear Solid 1, and I was not fucking impressed.
Who? Which Metal Gear Solid game?
4. Remember when you go back to
Yeah,
Shadow
yes,
Jesus?
exactly. I was especially fed up with the series after 3. As like this will have to be a massive improvement over 3.
It wasn't. Graphically, it was, and it had like
Gameplay it was too, but
yeah,
we're
it had.
talking about one of the worst games ever fucking made as far as budget and expectation.
Are you taking out the cameras?
Yeah, I'm taking out the cameras. I think I have to. Shit, I didn't get that one. Too bad I can't angle these up or down a little. But yeah, here I guess I don't need a gas. I don't know if the gas mask will even be in this game,
I don't
but
know.
here I could just press triangle.
Will that speed up the missile?
No.
You know what's sad is that you have to play with that shitty Logitech controller.
The controller's not the problem though. It's kind of the
Yeah, yeah,
emulator
it's
that's the
not really the
problem.
problem, but I wish you could just take my
I'll
fucking
just
controller
explode
because
it
I
right
want the
next to my
Steam
fucking head.
controller so
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
bad.
Well, you can have it. You can
Yeah,
fucking.
when we get it, not even when it comes out, but just when we get it.
Oh, here, this door opened.
I like that it shows visibly. That's fucking something I'm sure Kojima never had anything to come up with.
Yeah, I think I could still hold my breath.
Maybe if
Fuck. Yeah, I'm gonna need, you know what? Fuck it. I'll use the FAMAS.
is the gas mask. What the fuck? Anyways. Um, well, I was gonna say something about. Oh yeah, Metal Gear Solid 4. There's a part where you
Oh.
literally come back to this exact area in the game. Oh, can you fucking first person it? Was it like the first person? Oh, the FAMAS. That's almost kind of cool, except not really. But
There's like a button to turn on the safety for the FAMAS. Hold on a second.
oh,
It
there's
says
the
press
gas
A button
mask.
for
You
full
do have
automatic
the fucking.
fire. Press Y button for safety.
You do have the fucking gas. Oh, and it even looks like fucking Raiden's dumbass skull suit. Well, the kick is so stupid. Oh, fuck. But anyways. Wow, you can turn on the safety. Wow, that's so unnecessary.
Here, I can hold up guards by holding Y and
That was
B,
actually, yeah,
but
that
they
would
are
be necessary.
impossible to press together.
That would be nice and necessary as long as you didn't click it on accident. Which would be fucking stupid ass fucking retarded.
Gas, but fuck,
Why don't
shit.
built-in mics count? Oh.
Dude, built-in mics not count? What the fuck? What kind of stupid saying is that? That's
No,
the dumbest thing
he's
I've ever
talking about
heard.
the fucking on his laptop.
Oh,
Fucking
for
hairy
Skype?
neck mod.
It should fucking work. Yeah.
It should work, but you can't really control it.
Nope. I have to put
Shouldn't
in
be,
headphones.
yeah, you shouldn't. No, it's not that. It's that you shouldn't be using a fucking built-in fucking laptop's fucking microphone to call us on a fucking thing. Because I have a feeling that would just fuck up. But anyways,
I got
anyways,
a feeling deep inside.
deep inside, when it hurts deep inside. Anyways,
I got
fucking,
a feeling I can't hide. Oh yeah.
um,
I wonder if I could shoot out this laptop.
I
Nope.
could shoot out laptops in real life. But anyway, the
I said
Uh-oh.
Zon better times than this.
I've said Zon better times than this. Metal Gear Solid 4, the part where you turn to Shadow, Jesus. This part, it's like chapter 4. It's like the fucking first part is in the Middle East, and then the second part is in the
Middle
South
East,
America.
you're supporting terrorists,
Yes.
supporting terrorism, literally
Except
supporting terrorism.
except they speak perfect English. It's stupid. It's really stupid. Oh, one of the things we never mentioned that's the dumbest thing about Metal Gear Solid 4 is like if you've ever seen Soul Taker, the great fucking classic Mystery Science Theater 3000 episode. It's on YouTube for free. MS2 Soul Taker, great fucking episode. Um there's a part where all the kids, the cool teenagers who are like 30 years old, die in a horrible car accident.
It's great.
Yes, but they, instead of really dying, their souls are just displaced from their bodies, like in Ghost Dad. Put the bitch on the phone, Ghost Dad.
Bitch!
But yeah, in Soul Taker, their ghosts are displaced from their bodies, and there's a part where like they were partying earlier. So there's fucking
Natalie McMillan is a rich
she's a
bitch.
rich she's a rich
She's upper middle class and we're slightly lower middle.
we only had core comps for Windows. Fucking bourgeoisie jerks. But but yeah, they were partying, which is the movie's justification for there being balloons hanging from the windows. In reality, in the actual movie, there's no justification for there being balloons hanging.
Summerfest, short for summer festering.
Yes, they were partying at Summerfest,
And
and
here's the genome soldiers. These are genetically
uh,
advanced American super special
I
forces.
think I'm a fucking like a half hour behind now.
Well, all the troops in the entire game are these genetically engineered American special forces, and they're like the biggest fucking losers.
I'm
They're the
watching.
biggest idiots and the biggest losers
I
in the
just
game.
watched you shoot at a fucking laptop full auto and with no effect, which is kind of funny because in
Oh
like
shit.
MGS2, it would have like blown out a screen or something, but in this, it's clearly like just some like porting company.
Yeah, Silicon Knights did it.
Yeah, which
this
in
is
a way,
fucking.
it's like who gives a
This
shit?
is
Like,
this is especially stupid.
yeah, it's like who gives a fuck about putting that much work in? But at the same time, it's like without putting that much work in, it's like fucking, you almost have to give hideous Kojima credit for that.
I'm supposed to think that this cyborg ninja is a good guy eventually at some point. All I see him is fucking basically murdering a boatload of guys who are completely helpless. I mean, if you remember in fucking Deus Ex, you're expected to take everyone down with non-lethal force, even though you're only slightly better than them.
Oh, that was a good game. A nice mod says, "Why does Snake look like he's 14 years old in this?" It's probably just because of old graphics system.
Shitty graphics.
Sure, graphics. But again, we were fucking trying to talk about Metal Gear Solid 4, where you come back to Shadow Moses. Literally an abandoned ruins. Been abandoned for years because it's like Snake. It's old Snake revisiting this specific area. You walk through this area that you're still in at that I'm watching with the nuke building basement too and that kind of shit. And the ninja comes out and all that goofy ass shit. And the point is that you go through this area and it's fucking Snake and
Octagon.
Octagon being like, "Wow, remember this and remember oh, you need to change discs to disc 2." And
Yeah, there is actually two discs in this also, so I have no idea how I'm going to get the game to work at that point.
who knows? Yeah, who the fuck knows? But I remember for the PlayStation 1, you played this game and there were two
It was way more
discs.
atmospheric in fucking the PlayStation 1. Everything's really brightly lit. I could
Yeah, it's a
even
little.
change the. Oh shit, what
It's
the
not
fuck is this?
It's not atmospherically lit. I don't know what part you're even looking at because I'm just watching the stream.
Okay, that
Here's the
was pure
thing.
luck.
If anyone comes into the stream into the chat, I'm not reading it. I am closing it right now. So if you're fucking
No
listening,
one's
that's
more
right.
interesting than us.
Yes,
There's
exactly. We don't
no
need
point.
the fucking chat. But here's the thing about Metal Gear Solid 4. You come back to this area with the fucking ninja and the fucking computer room and the gas mask room that you have to fight the Nikita through. And it's like Snake and and Otacon reminiscing about like, wow, remember this? It's like you don't have to go over the electrified floor anymore. It's not electrified, and you just walk over it, and you can go over the other part of the floor and that kind of shit, and you can find some shit. It's very cold, and it's pretty atmospheric. It's a little neat, but only if you've played Metal Gear Solid 1, or maybe Twin Sword and the Snakes, which no one really played. But Metal Gear Solid 1, you remember you had to fucking fire the Nikita through the fucking floors and all this shit, and you had to wear the gas mask and that goofy ass shit. And it's like they designed that entire chapter of the game. Because, again, like I mentioned, Chapter 1's the Middle East, where you're fighting you're aiding the terrorists who all have American accents, and chapter 2 is South America,
Oh,
where
and this ninja who is, by the way, Gray Fox, who we
yes,
still don't know. We could have seen him in fucking MGS 5, but instead, as Spoonie 2 said, it really is just the game. MGS 5 really just does end.
that's right. They just fucking
Just
completely
ends
blanked out.
immediately.
Yeah, they just blanked out on Frank Yeager, who was Gray Fox, who's supposed to be another super soldier. And again, it's like, who gives a shit? Because he has no bearing on even Metal Gear Solid 3 or 5, which are both prequels, which both could have included him because he was fucking considered an equal to Big Boss and Solid Snake. And instead, he's just a reference to like Metal Gear 2, I think. I think it was Metal Gear 2, which was literally Metal Gear 2, a game that came out in like 1988 that no one played. I didn't play it. It sucked. It was a shitty game.
Bad game,
It's
bad person.
it's actually included in Metal Gear Solid 3.
Here's a GameCube with a GameCube. Oh fuck! Like fucker.
It's an actual GameCube. Holy shit! Didn't they? Wasn't there something like that in the PlayStation version where there's an actual?
Yeah, there's a PlayStation sitting there. There's a bunch
It
of
just
other stuff sitting here right now.
just sitting there. Again, I'm not watching, so I don't know what the fuck's going on. Hello, computer. But again, fucking, you go into Metal Gear Solid 4. You go into this abandoned area, and there's no one there. There's not even enemies there. There's not even enemy robots there. Which there's a few when you revisit Shadow Moses in this whole chapter. There's a few enemy robots, but like there's a big chunk of it where there's no enemy robots at all. And then there's just Vamp there, and then Liquid Snake is there.
Vamp, who is immortal, by the way.
Yes, because of Nanomachine's son. I still kind of want to play that game just because it's like the only game of the
Okay.
series I've played.
Oh, Revengeance. Yeah, I still have it, and I could
Yes,
install it, but I just have no interest.
I have it
And
on my wish
in a
list.
few days, it's not going to matter.
Yeah, exactly. When fucking the wonderful Fallout 4 comes out. Ground Zeroes I do have, and Phantom Pain I
Oh,
actually do
gee,
want to
he's
play.
using stealth camo. How will I ever fucking catch him?
There's DLC for fucking MGS5. I didn't know this.
What? What DLC?
Metal Gear Solid 5, the Phantom Pain jumpsuit EVA, Fatigue's Naked Snake, Western Tack,
What the fuck
non-tac
is any of that? I've never heard of any of this, and I own the game.
non-tactical loadout for D-Horse, perfect for imaginary travels through the Old West. You must proceed to a certain point in the story and meet the proper development requirements before this item can be developed. And it's 99 cents. Here's another one. Tuxedo. Tuxedo that Naked Snake is said to have worn during Operation Snake Eater. For the
What
gentleman,
is this available on, and how much does it cost? If it
Metal,
costs any more than $1, I'm not buying it.
it's 99 cents. All of these are 99 cents, but this one has actually mixed reviews. It's even though it's a DLC. Sneaking suit, the boss, 99 cents. While sneaking suit that the boss wore during Operation Snake Eater, in addition to the nice dampening soles that eliminate sound of footsteps, the suit features high strength aramid weave that offers superb damage resistance for female staff only.
What?
So it's a female sneaking suit. Here's Parade Tack, non-tactical loadout for D-Horse. Special tack for ceremonies, parades, and other formal occasions, real or imagined. Here's another one called Sneaking Suit Naked Snake. Soviet sneaking suit worn by Naked Snake during Operation Snake Eater. All these are still 99 cents, and this one is actually thumbs down. Company of Heroes 2, the British Forces Company of Heroes, which I have in library. Company of Heroes 2 in library. Tales of Valor in library. Opposing Fronts in library. Ardennes Assault, which I don't have. Volume, which I don't have. Companies of Heroes 2, the Western Front Armies, or Oberkommando West, I have in my library. It says
Was that on Steam?
all of these are on Steam. I'm just scrolling. I searched for like a Metal Gear Solid. Um, because I was looking for something else. What was I looking for? I don't remember. I don't remember. I was looking for something in but Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain is like I don't have that. I do have Ground Zeroes. Ground Zeroes, I will admit I enjoyed. Um I got it on sale though for like $5. Very much worth $5, I would say.
I enjoyed Ground Zeroes, but it's a
Or
huge down step from 5 because you can't really detect enemies through walls.
one thing is that in Ground Zeroes is that there's a mission to fucking strafe people with a fucking helicopter gunship, which is fun. And you rescue Hideo Kojima, which I would almost say, oh, that's stupid, but it's kind of funny in the game's context because there's an actual scripted sequence where it's like he's
He's
actually
zooming
like,
in on his fucking goofy ass hipster glasses,
yes,
and
but
and it's in slow motion.
he's driving a jeep and you have to protect the jeep at some parts, and then he goes out on foot and you have to protect him. It's like an actual mission. It's cool. I like it. But yeah, like we were saying, MGS4. You get into MGS4, and it's one of the later chapters where you just revisit and completely abandon. And there's all these like flashbacks that you can revisit. A fucking stupid ass Shadow Moses, and it's like, remember Metal Gear Solid 1? And it's like, how many people playing this have actually played Metal Gear Solid 1? How about you just actually get to the game content, get to the meat of it instead of revisiting the first game that is really inferior to all the Metal Gear Solid
But
games that came
especially,
after.
yeah, most especially is I want to be able to like hold up guards and fucking use their items.
There's no guards in Metal Gear Solid 4 in that entire section. It's all just robots, so you can't hold them up. And if you shoot them, they all get alerted. So it just turns into like a weird like evasion technique because it's literally 100% robots in the revisit of Shadow Jesus. So it's just weird and awkward and doesn't really work. And but aside from that, it's just like an attempt at nostalgia for like a very limited select amount of people. It's like unless everyone has played Metal Gear Solid 1, you're really doing this for almost no one. And they were doing it for us because me and you, both of us, played Metal Gear Solid 1 a million times over. We played it a ridiculous amount of times. I played it on extreme difficulty. We played it on every other difficulty. We played it with the stealth camo, with the bandana. I remember actually making a videotape, a literal videotape, a fucking video cassette of Metal Gear Solid where I played through the entire game, beginning to end, with all the cutscenes. And I had the stealth camo, I had the bandana, so I had infinite ammo, and I had the enemies couldn't see me. And I fucking taped me playing it on the PlayStation 1 where I was like planting
Yeah,
C4
it
on
was a
guards'
transfer.
backs.
I think it was with the it was a video capture card.
No, it wasn't a transfer. We literally just hooked up the PlayStation to our VCR and we played the PlayStation through the VCR, and the VCR was hooked up to the TV. So we just had the VCR tuned to channel 3, and channel 3 was the channel that played the PlayStation. That's all it took. It was something like that. No, or it was like the aux 1 channel or aux 2, where the fucking colored wires plugged into the front of the VCR, and the fucking colored wires in the front of the VCR were aux 2. So we just tuned to channel 2 and then just hit record on an 8-hour tape set to like extended record. I just did that and played through the game, and I would like actually pause the tape if I actually got stuck, which I didn't because we had played through the game like 10 plus times by that point. And I fucking recorded this, and I just did it for fun, and I sent it to like a friend over actual snail mail in like fucking 1999 or 2000 or something. I was like, here's Metal Gear Solid 1, beginning to end, all the fucking scene, all the cutscenes, all the codec calls, all that shit, beginning to end, including Can Love Bloom on a Battlefield, all that shit, not fucking cut out. Even me fucking around in the game where I fucking snap Meryl's neck like 10 times in a row. I even did some pausing, what we called pausing adventures, where I'd pause the tape. It was like homemade editing, where I'd pause the tape of me recording and like snap Meryl's neck, record that, and then she would die, and it would be like, Snake, what have you done? You killed Meryl. What are you doing, Snake? Where they would just scream Snake, and I would just fucking do that over and over again. It just do like fucking unpause it when I'm snapping Meryl's neck. Fucking, they would scream Snake, and then pause it again, pause the recording, and that would
I remember pausing adventures being actually stopping
the tape itself, the recording of the tape itself.
pausing the game repeatedly while we're playing like TMNT 2,
Yeah, yeah, that
so
would
that
be
we
like,
could have a better idea. Because if we're doing really bad, we'd start just hammering the start button.
yes, that was on the regular Nintendo Entertainment System, where pausing adventures meant hitting the start button over and over again to like create a slow motion effect of like, okay, it's in slow motion, so you can just pause over and over again. There, that's easy.
Especially if we're getting our ass kicked, which that game was pretty. It was a little punishing.
Yeah, but the fucking TMNT 1, 2, and 3 for the Nintendo weren't that hard. Those were fun games. Those were like fucking River City Ransom without the sort of leveling up system and without the password. They were meant for single playthroughs. But anyways, we did that on videotape, VHS tape, with fucking Metal Gear Solid 1, where I would pause the actual tapes recording. And when you do that, the VHS tape would let you pause a recording for 10 minutes. And after 10 minutes, or maybe even 5 minutes, it would literally just stop recording. It would, and you hear the ka-chunk, ka-chunk sound effect of the tape stopping recording. Um, like if you're in the generation that missed out on that, you have fucking missed out on real life. I consider that shit because everything else is
Shit,
digital.
these cutscenes are fucking worse than ever. At least in the original game, where even there's they're just bobbing their head so that you know that they're talking.
It was so
It's
much more
fucking
unique.
yeah. It made more sense, and now they're just jacking off in your face, and it actually makes the entire thing worse.
Yeah, it's cheesier.
He
But
just pulls
anyways,
his gun. It's like, wait, he's in a conversation with Octagon, and he just pulls his gun on him, and then no, he actually isn't pointing his gun at Octagon. So why'd he pull his gun?
it
It's insulting.
is gay tarded. But anyways, yeah, that I remember doing that with like I did a full playthrough of Metal Gear Solid 1 with a fucking stealth cam on the bandana, beginning to end with all the cutscenes on one single 8-hour VHS. Which is really saying something because the cutscenes are pretty long in Metal Gear Solid 1, but even that plus the fucking full gameplay fit onto an 8-hour VHS. In fact, there was still like a half hour left for me to record a little footage of Metal Gear Solid 2 because we had that hooked up through our fucking VCR. That's when you could do shit like that, and you can still kind of can. Um, Especially with the old consoles like that, where you just hook up your PlayStation 1 or PlayStation 2 with the colored wires, the fucking yellow, white, and black or blue or whatever the fuck colors they are, into your VCR, and you just hook up your VCR then to your TV.
What the
And
fuck?
and then you hook up your fucking you hook up your TV to tune in to your fucking VCR, and you hook up your VCR to fucking display your aux channels, and aux 1 or 2 will display your fucking video game systems, and that's it.
Did that
And
regenerate my health?
if you hit record on that, you you will you will record. If you hit record while you're doing that, you will just record your video game. It's really simple. It's really simple, and that's what we did. I did that for a fucking whole full playthrough, a very fucking casual, quick playthrough of Metal Gear Solid 1, and I sent that to a friend, and they probably still have that tape, even though I haven't contacted them in years and shit. But you could do that in Metal Gear Solid 1, where it was just like, here's all the goofy ass cutscenes, but they were still not as over the top and retarded and stupid and embarrassing as fucking Twin Snakes. But it was still MGS1, and it had the whole story. I had the codec calls, I had the gameplay, even fucking around where I would snap Meryl's neck over and over and over again. Where, like, say I snap Meryl's neck and she dies, and then I want to go back to Meryl in the fucking continuation, I would just pause, like fucking snap Meryl's neck, and they would fucking bring up the continue screen. Or it'd be like, oh, you killed Meryl. What are you doing? You're fucking crazy, you evil motherfucker. And then it would be continue or exit. And then I would just hit pause on the VCR's recording. And then just fucking, like, you can do this even more easily on a fucking digital recording to your fucking PC, or if you just clip or crop out the scene on like a video editor. This is just basically the analog version of that on a fucking VCR, and it's so fucking old, but it still worked. And yeah, I remember doing that on Metal Gear Solid 1. We played it so many times. This was after like a 10th playthrough on like fucking normal or hard difficulty of Metal Gear Solid 1, where we had the fucking the stealth camo that makes you completely invisible to every enemy. You could be standing right in front of them and they never see you. You could actually plant blocks of C4 onto their back and they wouldn't notice it. And you could just fucking stand there and watch them walk around with C4 on their back, and then detonate it and watch them blow. And which is, by the way, fucking apparently Metal Gear Solid 5 lets you do that without any of the stealth camo. You can just fucking hold them up so they're fucking captured, and then just plant fucking bricks of C4 onto the back and go, okay, okay, fucking Franklin. Okay, Franklin, now let this be a lesson to you. And then just fucking, Franklin, his plan didn't work. His plan.
Franklin died.
Franklin died. And just all this shit fucking going.
What the fuck's the corpse of the body who fucking got ripped in half? It's just
Um,
not there anymore.
by the way, here's a person who mentions you should do an ad for the Paranoid's Bible on your podcasts. I'll mention that right now. The fucking Paranoid's
Not for
Bible,
free.
not for free.
I guess we'll
Well,
do it for free.
yeah, yeah, it's no problem. If you just Google Paranoid's Bible, that it teaches you how to sort of dox yourself and prevent yourself from being doxed, prevent your personal information from being leaked onto the internet, that kind of shit. How to fucking remove that fucking information, how to prevent it from being on there, that kind of shit. I would really recommend it. It's on a Tumblr, and I think there's a PDF. There's either a PDF on the Tumblr or there's going to be soon. Just fucking absolutely keep an eye on that shit. I would fucking absolutely. I fucking highly recommend it for anyone listening. Paranoid's Bible. You don't have to fucking do everything it says. I would just say absolutely check it out.
Yeah, definitely keep it in mind. Stuff like that.
Yeah, so you know what's going on. So you especially know what the fuck's going on. Because you see fucking, if you've been following our blog, you know about the fucking people who got doxxed and their information got leaked and all that
You
kind of
know, there's
shit.
a lot of fucking insane fucking little bitch babies out there who, if they lose an argument with you, their first fucking recourse is to go and find your real life identity.
That even happens on like Baphomet and that kind of shit. That seems to be their first response to anyone who fucking they disagree with, which is creepy. But you know what? I would say let's not get into that. But the
And we're talking about people. The people most likely to be doxxed are the ones who shouldn't be doxxed, who don't deserve
yes,
it. Meanwhile, the ones who absolutely deserve it, the Jews and fucking the modern tyrants of the modern age.
they're not even being doxxed. They're just fucking. It's like information that they would let out personally and publicly that they don't even think is important. Like even Sarah Butts, that fucking guy who's a fucking
A
tranny.
disgusting
That's not even.
semi man,
That's not even.
not even male.
That's not even being doxxed.
You
That's
got
just
a corn
information
nut.
they
You
give
got a
out.
clit. You're not even a guy. You're
They
an AIDS
fucking
germ on a slide.
he gave out his he actually personally saved his fucking IRC chat logs and uploaded them himself to the website that he owned. The fucking it was a fucking Found Fancy website even. What a fucking faggot. And he uploaded all that shit about how much he wanted to molest children and fucking creepy ass shit like that. He uploaded that shit himself because he was like, hey, it's normal. It's not wrong. Because that's how pedos actually think. They think privately in their own minds, they think, well, that's not wrong. People just think it's wrong, but it is. It's wrong, and it goes to show things that are social constructs are usually social constructs for a good fucking reason.
But I mean, a
Like,
lot of these people are so fucking. They're so disgusting.
they
They're
should be
like, hey,
exterminated.
I'm a social justice warrior. Of
Yeah,
course, I should be allowed to molest children.
yeah,
I'm
doxing
not a
those people,
Republican.
it's not wrong. It's not really wrong to
I'm
dox
not a
people like that.
Republican. I should be allowed to molest as many children as I want.
Exactly. Fucking exactly. Anyways, so yeah, the Metal Gear Solid games, fucking 4 tries to. Here's the point overall that I was trying to make is that 4 tries to cash in a nostalgia that we have, me and you.
But they don't realize I
We have
took
it.
off the nostalgia blinders.
Yes, we are the people who would have it most because we literally have made an entire tape of us playing Metal Gear Solid beginning to end. That's why I brought it up is that we made that tape and I did the pausing adventures where I actually paused out all the fucking shit of me goofing around. I get to the part where I snap Meryl's neck and all this shit. I fucking have the fucking all the fucking special items. Every special I knew every trick in the game where I would like fucking wear a Sniper Wolf's handkerchief so that the fucking wolves would be friendly to me and all that kind of shit. Every bit of that shit. I knew all those tricks. And even then, when Metal Gear Solid 4 tried to cash in on that nostalgia, I was like, you know what? Fuck you, game. I was not impressed. I didn't give a fucking shit because there was nothing to be impressed about. It was stupid. It was boring. Metal Gear Solid 4 had completely botched the game by then, especially by then. It was a failure. The game was a
Yeah,
failure.
she just ran away. I was wondering what would happen if I held Meryl up
Oh,
and she
she
just
just
ran
runs?
off.
Well, that makes sense at least. I mean, that's what she
It's a
really.
little disappointing though. They should make it so that it's like, oh, you can hold her up and get her dog tags.
Snap her neck, because you can still. I'm pretty sure you can still do that. But, anyways,
Yeah,
um,
punch the shit out of
you
her.
can absolutely do that in Metal Gear Solid 1. You can plant C4 on her back with a fucking stealth cam.
Yeah, and blow her up. I think you don't need the stealth camo to plant C4 on their back. But holy
Oh,
fuck, it's just so fun and it's easy to get. How is it? You either have to let Meryl die or you fucking have to live. I think you have to let her die during the torture cutscene, the unskippable torture cutscene, where it's just a cutscene but you're mashing the button. Ugh.
anyways, fucking. But yeah, the Metal Gear Solid 4, that was the failure of its attempt to cash in on the nostalgia, which it wasted like a full 2 hours, maybe really just one solid hour of gameplay. Of really empty, lonely, sad gameplay because there were no guards you could hold up, so that entire aspect of gameplay was just thrown into the garbage for that entire chapter of Metal Gear Solid 4, and it was really sad. And this doesn't really have much to do with Final Fantasy, but Final Fantasy 1 sucked. It was just a bunch of grinding. Final Fantasy 2 though, I Final Fantasy 2 was a lot of grinding, but it was punctuated with like more story. And I remember when we were like 11, maybe 12, we were really into it. And I would still kind of recommend it, but not if you're gonna bust your ass. Like I would recommend if you're gonna cheat at the game or something. Final Fantasy 2 for the Super Nintendo, which is actually Final Fantasy 4 by the Japanese numbering, because this is the fourth game in the fucking series. Because as it turns out, fucking Japan had released Final Fantasy 2 and 3 on the Nintendo, and they were kind of weird games. I actually played both of those on the Game Boy Advance. They had ported both of those games into very kind of sort of actually 16-bit graphics versions, which were kind of nice because they were easy. I think it was I don't remember which one it was, but Final Fantasy 3. I remember it had like a key code system where, like in Shadowrun, where you would mention specific words to people, and it would trigger new dialogue options. And I played that while we were living in the fucking shitty apartment, actually. That's when I played that. And I had a good time because I played it with a walkthrough. So I knew exactly what to do beginning to end. I just fucking burned through the game. And same for Final Fantasy 2 on the GBA port, the Nintendo GBA port, was a job system game, which sucks a dick usually. But as it turns out, if you just play as Monk, just make everyone's job a monk, and you can still use like a sort of healing system. And if you level up the monk just a few times, their fucking damage becomes so fucking overpowered I think I did that a bunch while like listening to radio shows and podcasts, so it was just easy to breeze through that. So I burned through Final Fantasy 2 and 3 on the Nintendo through their GBA ports, which I think were also kind of dumbed down and made easier. So there was that, and then there was Final Fantasy 4, also known as Final Fantasy 2 on the Super Nintendo, and we played that originally in like 1991 or 92. I played the ports, the GBA ports, in like 2009. So, it was way later. It was a different version, that kind of shit. But Final Fantasy 2, I remember me and you played the shit out of that. We played that beginning to end. That's a good 200-hour fucking game. And it only counted like up to 60 hours. Um, but we played the shit out of it. And we played a ridiculous. We did all the fucking grinding. Um, and we beat the game and we fucking finished it. And it turns out the fucking United States release of Final Fantasy 2 was the easy type, which probably is more like the correct type because it's just a fucking nightmare otherwise. I played the DS port and it's just shit.
It's a slog that require again their idea of making the game more difficult is adding more grinding,
Yeah, just making it a bigger slog. Just a
which
painful,
is the wrong way to do it.
boring slog. As opposed to, like, say, Fallout, which is just the grinding in that is just traveling around, adventuring, and shooting every motherfucker that is hostile to you. And it's just fun because you see their arms and legs blow the fuck off. Who the fuck can't like that? And that's why I consider the Skyrim game, the Elder Scrolls games, to be inferior. Because you can't blow off people's arms and legs. Because you don't have guns. And hey, RPGs without guns, they're for faggots. So, yeah, but me and you played fucking Final Fantasy 2 in the US a billion times when it came out on the Super Nintendo. And it cost $70, by the way. A lot of people don't fucking remember that. But we don't forget because mom actually had to pay for that, which is almost kind of surprising. I think she put on layaway or something. I don't know, but it was one of the few games that we demanded be purchased because it had beautiful graphics. The coloring was incredible. It was like Killzone. You look at Killzone, it's all gray. And then you look at a fucking game like, I don't know, Far Cry 1, 2, 3, 4, any of those games. And they're incredibly colored greens and purples and reds and all this shit. And that's what it's like. Final Fantasy 2 had incredible color. It had tons of rich purples and blues and violets. All this fucking shit. It was beautiful to look at. And it was incredible. Especially for a game that wasn't just a platformer, because most of the games coming out for the Super Nintendo at the time were fucking platformers, and which was okay, but it was getting beaten to death already with the fucking first few games. So we got Final Fantasy 2, and we enjoyed it immensely. Great, fucking, it had story, it had characters, it had plot twists that were kind of really simple and shallow, but still, fun game, really good time. And a couple of years later, Final Fantasy 3 came out, which was actually Final Fantasy 6. And I have to say, it's the fucking best game in the series. Even today. Better than 7, better than 8, better than 9, 10, 11. I actually like 12. But better than 12, better than 13, 14, and 15.
Yeah, that probably actually shock a few people to learn that we actually like 12.
Yes. Yes.
It had better characters even.
Yeah, I fucking um it had a lot more characters. In fact, it had like one of the first female protagonists who was like a real protagonist. But also it wasn't the first female protagonist that tried to draw attention to like it's the first female protagonist. It was like, who gives a shit? Here's a fucking chick, and she starts off at the very beginning of the game. The beginning of the game is really slow, and that's the hardest part to get past. If you're gonna play Final Fantasy VI, you got to do it with like save states or fucking a quick draw on the fucking saves. So you can't play on the PS3 with that fucking anthology save thing where it's fucking you got loading times in the fights and that fucking stupid ass shit. Play it on a Super Nintendo emulator with a quick draw on the save states. Fucking and usually that's S for save, L for load. That's how it should be anyways. It should be something easy to remember. I think all on the Z SNES though, it's like fucking F1 or it's F2. I don't fucking remember, but it's a little complicated. But just know it and try and focus on it. You can fucking load up Z SNES, go download Z SNES or SNES 9X on just on a Google search. They're completely legal, and you can usually find just every single Super Nintendo game ever fucking released ever in the history of ever on like some quick Pirate Bay search. Um, and that's fucking easy. But anyways, that said, we played Final Fantasy 3 on the original cartridge,
Okay.
like at more than one time over. Even I think we played it two or three times over, and it's a huge game. It's like Final Fantasy 7 is a huge game. Even I would say it's about that size, and it's incredible fucking size. I would say Final Fantasy VI is better than Final Fantasy VII because Final Fantasy VII is very anime, so it appeals to the people who are like, oh, spiky hair and fucking googly anime eyes, and fucking Tifa, of course, has giant tits, which appeals to that anime sense of like satisfying the id of like that base sexual function. Whereas Final Fantasy VI was just like, here's weird characters, and the only fucking appeal to them was their characterization. So if you're gonna like fucking Terra, you're gonna like her for her character, not her fucking tits. She had a fucking kind of she wore a fucking unitard, but aside from that, she was fucking just a person who you're introduced from her being enslaved with a slave crown. It's very oppressive and othering and
Yeah, this
patriarchal.
fucking sexual oppression because it's a woman who's not empowered. She has her agency robbed from her, which is literally rape.
But it also makes you identify with her more because they take the slave crown off of her, and all of a sudden she's like, "Oh, I was enslaved the whole time," and you're like, "Oh, that's terrible." So you kind of like her more. And also, she's like a weirdo. She's a freak. She's a horrific freak because she knows magic, and you don't even get to use that until way later when because you're playing as Sabin and Edgar, who are a couple of brothers. One of them runs like a weird kingdom in the desert or something that can actually travel underground and shit through a weird underground tunnel that it drills out. So it's like very steampunk. Literally, the first town you visit is pure steampunk. And it kind of was on the cusp of actual steampunk. This was in like 1993 or 4 before steampunk was even a fucking thing. So it's really incredible. Um, and fucking the whole game thrived on the characters alone, but also it didn't have the job system. And I gotta say, job system fucking cripples the Final Fantasy games. Final Fantasy 6 or 3 in the US did not have a job system. It had a very unique character system where every character had their own job permanently locked to that character. No changing it, none of that shit. But the thing is that there was like 20 characters and you could swap them out way later into the game. So you kind of had to get used to them and fucking what they did. And it wasn't until later that you're like, okay, now you can choose between these characters, but also in the final run up, the final dungeon of the game, which is like a giant, super fucking hellish nightmare garbage fucking tower made out of fucking garbage by the fucking clown prince, basically by fucking the Joker from the Batman shit. Um, except he like has created the actual apocalypse. That's another thing in Final Fantasy VI that no one seems to fucking is smart enough to acknowledge that is so much better about any Final Fantasy game is that over the halfway point the entire world gets destroyed. It becomes the world of ruin. It's actually a different world, and you don't have a choice. And that's one of the few things where not having a choice is superior in to JRPGs to fucking Western RPGs. Is that in Final Fantasy VI, the world just gets fucking destroyed, and you sort of wake up under one character, a kind of a side character, one of the B-listers. She wakes up and she wakes up in the world of ruin after the world has been destroyed, and she was being nursed back to health by another side character who you never actually get to play as. And he's like, I'm nursing you back to health. And then he starts getting old and sick because the world's falling apart and he's getting old. And you have the choice to nurse him back to health. And depending on like the fish that you gather for him, he can either die of sickness or he fucking gets nursed back to health. But either way, you fucking find your way out of this little island that you're isolated on, and you get back into the fucking world. And it's kind of horrific, even in a good, even in the positive way. Like if you fucking nurse him back to health and you fucking find your way back, it's horrific because the world you find back into is destroyed and there's like nothing left to fight for. But you can find all of your characters again. You can find all the characters, and they're all like lost. They're fucking trying to find their own quests and shit. And that's how like the last half of Final Fantasy VI plays out. Is you like getting the band back together of a bunch of people like the Warriors of the Apocalypse, sort of like Len Kapuzinski. But then you not only that, but the main character Terra, you have to go find her again. She's running a tiny, tiny little town that's under attack by like one big bad ass fucking boss, and you have to team up with her. She finds out that she's like half Esper, and she got fucking team up with her. And you have to do a pretty tough fight with her, sort of. And you've already teamed up with a bunch of other people. And after she joins you, you can sort of swap out all your teammates for anyone else that you want. And you get everyone else back together. You find a new airship after a while. And you explore the world fresh because it's all destroyed. So it's all different. So everything in the world is different. So the entire world that you've explored is different, and there's even a couple of secret fucking friendlies that you can get into your team that were not even possible in the previous world. And like basically Go-Go and Umaru, who are kind of uncontrollable. Like one of them just copies all the moves of your previous party member, and the other is like permanently berserked. He's a fucking Sasquatch, and he just fucking, you can't control him. He just fucking slams super powerful attacks onto enemies. Um, and you have to go through weird, bizarre, like you have to get eaten by a super giant sandworm to find one of them, and go through a big dungeon and that kind of goofy ass shit.
Let's destroy these fucking. Just destroy these fucking statues. Motherfucker. It's shaking around when I shoot it. Pretty sure I can destroy it.
Is that the fucking,
I don't know how to do this otherwise.
what are you doing?
Psycho Mantis.
Oh, yeah, you know what? They may have tried. They may have fucking changed that entire fight. I don't even know.
Well, so far it seems like it's the same, but I'm not going to pull out my controller.
No, definitely. That's one thing that was really stupid about fucking Metal Gear Solid 1 is that to do the fight, Psycho Mantis fight, to like prevent his attempts from controlling you, you had to pull your fucking actual controller out of the fucking controller port.
That's
And
the only way I knew of taking him down, except I did it one other way, some other
yeah,
time.
yeah, there's some other time where you're able to do that, and just fucking, it wasn't worth it though. That wasn't worth it. But yeah, so that's what that was like. Anyways, yeah, the Final Fantasy 3. I didn't even get into what was great about the story, aside from like the World of Ruin, where halfway, it's like over the halfway point. Because you don't actually have to get every single fucking teammate back in order to try and fucking go to the end fight of the game. But here's the thing. Final Fantasy 4 they remade, Final Fantasy 7 they remade, Final Fantasy 5 they remade, and Final Fantasy 5 was one of the worst really because again it was another job system game which means more grinding.
Well, I
Like,
just remember Final Fantasy V. I quit on that game like at the very beginning. Everyone was like, "Oh, just get past the thing. It's easy." And
but
then,
no,
no.
yeah, if you get past the thing, there's more shit to get past. It's just a fucking nightmare. But yeah, it was shit. It was a piece of shit. It wasn't worth it, and the gameplay, even if you factor out the job system, the gameplay and the story are not worth it. They're not good. They're not good. They're not even as good as Final Fantasy 4 and Final Fantasy 6. Here's the difference with Final Fantasy 6 is the characterization, where I would still say it's not as good as like Western RPGs, like fucking Fallout. Way, way better story. And the story's more slight in fucking Fallout. But in Final Fantasy VI, you play as Terra, and at the beginning she's mind slaved, and then they sort of break out of that, and you gotta do this big escape section where it's like fucking they're chasing you, and you gotta fly on a raft, you gotta fight this motherfucker, and that kind of shit.
And the adventurers, actually, their fucking guild, kind of, it makes more sense as opposed to Avalanche, which is just, it's just like, Avalanche, whatever, and it's like, who cares?
Yeah, Final Fantasy VII story was really just an attempt to recreate Final Fantasy VI, except without the quality. It was just a cheesier,
Oh shit, I punched
more
him.
animu version.
Oh, fuck.
But yeah, so they so you start off playing as Terra. She gets rescued by fucking not Edgar, but it was Lockie, and Lockie's like friends
Locke.
with Edgar, or yeah, or just Locke. But he's friends with Edgar, and they team
He's a
up.
reference to John Locke.
John Locke, which probably is just part of the translation. But they team up. They fucking go and kick ass. And she escapes, and she uses magic, and like, holy shit, she uses magic, or the fuck, because it's supposed to be a world where like magic has gone extinct, and they're just using either magic tech or just steampunk technology. and they still have never remade this game except for like one really shitty remake on the fucking on a mobile system, I think. Um, at the fucking Android, which is just it was just a graphical update, but the gameplay was actually made worse. But yeah, the fucking in Final Fantasy VI, that's just the introduction, and it's a very slow, gradual introduction. So it's really hard to get after. It's hard to get through it. It's hard to get used to it because it's very slow and it's also very grindy, just like the other Final Fantasy games. It's very, very fucking grindy. You have to grind through it. And instead of a job system, there's the Esper system where you equip a Magicite, which is like a dead Esper. You equip it to a character, and the more that you fight battles with that Magicite equipped to that character, the more they learn from the Magicite. And the Magicite has a set list of spells, and also it has a summon that it will teach that character. And the summon you can use anytime, but the set list of spells can be very it can vary, and some of them have the same spells, and some of them just have very unique ones like fucking Ultima. And the later you get into the game, the more the Magicite will teach you, the more fucking later level fucking shit. But so it's very grindy still, and I wouldn't recommend it to today's gamer that doesn't have that much time. Like, you gotta have tons and tons of time to really get through Final Fantasy VI. If you're gonna do it, you better fucking have a fucking permanent save state that you're gonna save to like a Dropbox or your own personal portable hard drive or that kind of shit. I wish that Steam would let you pick specific things to save to a cloud. Like, if Steam was like Steam lets you save specific games to a cloud, but if Steam was like, okay, we're gonna give you like 1 gig of space, or even like 100 megs of space, like that's 10% of a gig, and they said, okay, here's 100 megs of space, you can pick any program on your computer to save 100 megs of space to. Any more than that, we won't save. But here you go. It's just locked to your account. Save whatever you want that's 100 megs. You could save a fucking insane shitload of NES and Super Nintendo and Genesis and Neo Geo ROMs and that kind of shit. You could save any of that shit to your fucking Steam cloud. If I wish they would do that, but I kind of, for legal reasons, I think they can't. Technically, they could do it, but I think technically they can't, and I don't blame them for that. That's not wrong. Just that, on like on a cloud, like a fucking Dropbox or just anything, you could just save it personally. You could even save fucking Final Fantasy VI saves to a floppy disk if you need to. You could burn it to a CD-ROM or fucking DVD-ROM or any of that shit. But the thing is that if you're gonna play a Final Fantasy game, either you're gonna fucking really focus on it, or you got to save it to a fucking cloud save of some kind. And definitely play it with walkthrough, a good walkthrough, because there's lots of shitty walkthroughs on GameFAQs that fucking suck a dick. They're fucking terrible. They don't know how to walk through a game because they're too busy making goofy, cheesy ass fucking references to fucking other shitty games, or Monty Python or some shit. It's like, here's a Monty Python reference. But anyways, here's a fucking spoiler out of nowhere. Or like, here's a fucking, we'll explain. You just fucking do this boss fight, and they don't explain why or how you actually do the boss fight, or what the boss fight's weaknesses is.
They've been grinding, so their only strategy they can give you is fucking attack the boss and heal yourself.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking stupid. So Final Fantasy VI got a GBA port. I don't give a shit. Because the Final Fantasy VI GBA port, I know, wasn't. Here's what I remember is within the Nintendo 64 is coming out, they did a little preview, Square did a little preview of Final Fantasy VI in a like full polygon. And I remember Locky and Terra and that kind of shit. And I think Edgar in like full three-dimensional polygon view. Like, here's the next Nintendo system. Here's what it's going to be. And it's like, oh shit, I can't wait to play a Final Fantasy game. Any Final Fantasy game on the Nintendo 64. Any RPG on the Nintendo 64.
Oh man, we are so gullible.
Yes, as it turns out, there were no RPGs for the Nintendo 64 except for Quest 64. One of the worst games ever made. Ever. Worse than fucking stupid ass fucking Superman 64,
Well, that's bad.
which is considered the worst game ever. But really, there was a lot of Nintendo 64 games that were actually worse than Superman 64. Just because of the promise and the potential and what they should have been able to do and never did. So yeah, that's all fucking happened with that shit. So, um, yeah, so fucking Final Fantasy VI still have never had a fucking like modernized version, like a fucking like a Final Fantasy VII ended up getting that treatment. And Final Fantasy VII was at least an original game, it had original characters, it had fucking FMVs, it had new situations. You're swinging away from the collapsing part of Midgard, that kind of fucking goofy ass shit. That's at least something different. But I would have loved to see, because Final Fantasy VI was made in the mindset of next generation systems. They even tried to do like a minecart fight where you're fucking riding on a minecart, and they really tried it. And it was like a very short section of the game. It was in first person mode where you're flying along a minecart, incredible speeds, and you get to like sort of pick like, oh, which track do you travel on and that kind of shit, and then you fight enemies on and that kind of shit. And it was a very short section, but it was clearly meant for bigger things. Just like Final Fantasy VII ultimately had all those concepts. But Final Fantasy VII did not have the characters of 6. And the characters of 6 were better. And again, I can't even barely get into fucking why. Because I didn't even get into Terra. Like, you start the character, you start the fucking game off as Terra. And she's enslaved, you fucking rescue her. You find out she's like half Esper, so she has these weird secret powers. And she has magic. She's the first character you get that
But
has magic.
rather than being a Mary Sue, you need to mention how she's not a Mary Sue, because she really doesn't have control over the powers, and then when she does, it's about as good as everyone else. All
Yeah,
the other fucking characters
she's kind of
basically have this a lot of the same
yeah,
skill
she's
level.
kind of incompetent and she doesn't understand it. But as you get later in the game, especially into the world of Ruin, she understands it. But she's doing it to protect like a small, tiny village. When you finally get back to her, and you're like, okay, we protected this village by killing Funbaba, who fucking would have raped the shit out of her, just ripped her cunt and asshole over and over again in front of like 20 kids. Just fucking horrific nightmare rapes. But you rescue her by fucking teaming up with her, and you save the village, and you're like, okay, we got to save the entire world now. And she's like, okay, I'm gonna do it, because we're all teaming up again. And you get the band back together, all this shit. And it's very complicated. It's so complicated. I can't even get into it over a fucking late night drunken stream. But it's really it's interesting and it's fun and weird and it's kind of lonely because you're doing it over literally a post apocalypse It's the first post-apocalyptic game that you play where the post-apocalypse happens in the middle of the game instead of before the game. It's not like a Mad Max game. It's like Mad Max, and you're fucking playing as Mad Max. The post-apocalypse happened way before this. You play the game, and in the middle of it, the fucking apocalypse actually happens. And you fucking have to live in the world after it. And you don't erase it. There's no fucking, like, world reset. There's no time reset. There's no magical ass pull. There's no fucking other shit. All this fucking shit that anime and fucking JRPGs do, Final Fantasy VI does not do. You fucking beat the game of Final Fantasy VI, and the world is still destroyed afterwards. That counts. That has to count for something. And that's why Final Fantasy VI is better than 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, any. It's better than 7, it's better than 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, or 14. Is because you get to experience very vividly. It's all done though in, the 16-bit pixel graphics, and I really wish they would remake it in a modern graphics setting, but they're not going to
But
fucking do
even then,
that.
the fucking amount of belt and zipper. I think actually some of that fucking concept art for the game had a lot of belt and zipper.
It's well,
But
it was very gothic. It wasn't exactly belt and zipper. Not until fucking 7 and on. And fucking Kingdom Hearts, the shittiest fucking game ever
Kingdom
made.
Sharks.
Yes. But Final Fantasy VI had a very, like, its concept art was very weird. And I kind of didn't like it. It still looks ugly. But I do like it because it's very unique. And it's very unique from the entire series, too. So I like that. It's basically a lot of waifs, very skinny, weird-looking fucking waifish characters, except for a couple of people like Sid and that kind of shit. But aside from that, it's just so unique and different, story-wise, setting-wise, the whole steampunk motif that it did an incredible job of innovating on. That's when Final Fantasies could still innovate. And Final Fantasy VII, in a way, did still innovate, but it was only in the aspect that was like in the fucking anime sense. It was basically like Tenchi Muyo, the video game, the ultimate video game of Tenchi Muyo, but it was still only Tenchi Muyo, which is fucking one of the shittiest piles of fucking dog shit ever created. Whereas Final Fantasy VI was like almost creepy in its fucking presentation. You almost felt depressed and sad for its characters because they were always on the losing side. It's basically like, and this is, I'm sure, a comparison the fucking creators would embrace fully. It's the Empire Strikes Back made fully into an original video game where the main characters, are constantly on the losing side. It's constantly Luke with a fucking robot arm watching over the stars and the fucking rebel fleet as like, we hope we can do something against fucking the Empire, but we don't even know if we can. That's how the entirety of fucking Final Fantasy VI plays out. It's that sort of hopelessness that permeates all the way to the end. Until when you beat it, though, you actually get that sense of like, okay, they've actually freed the world from this. It wasn't just like oppression, but it was like when you get to the end, it's like Kefka in the fucking tower, and he's like firing beams of laser shit across the continents just for no reason. He's just doing it. He's like, I'm just gonna do this because I don't give a shit about anything. And it's like, wow, this guy's fucking crazy. You have to stop him. And he's like attained so much power that he's become like an angel. And that kind of crazy ass shit. It's kind of over the top, but it's also effective. It's very painterly. It's like pixel art paint, which you can't get in video games anymore. You don't get fucking pixel art painting anymore in games. You wish you could. Like a fucking Symphony of the Night was like the last game to do it. or the very last game to do it, the last games to do it, fucking Castle Crashers, or the Scott Pilgrim game, or fucking Mercenary Kings. And I'm very much looking forward to Curses and Chaos, which is coming out soon. But those kind of games really give a shit about the artistic aspects of pixel art. And the last game to do it in the correct era was fucking Final Fantasy VI. And games today are doing that too, still, but they're doing it in sort of a retro style, in that kind of nostalgia aspect of games like Final Fantasy VI or Symphony of the Night and that kind of shit. And those games, I consider equal. And Final Fantasy VI has tons of gameplay to it. You can fight dinosaurs in it too. And, it's just a whole different era. And it's long gone, and they're not even trying to remake it. And I think that's sad, because they could make it so easily, where it would be so playable and kind of even easier. I would be fine with the game being easier, but the game is expansive, not just because of the grinding, but because the areas are so big, and they fucking it's like they require you to go to this area to be like, okay, you gotta fucking unlock Saban's power here, and he needs to rescue someone that he wants to rescue here, and here's a character that you run across here, and that kind of shit. It's just like this and this and this and this and this and this and this before you even run into the supposedly fucking important plot points. And in a way, it's padding. But if they just got rid of the grinding aspects, which the grinding aspects, I never considered that to be that long, because you just level up the characters, and the characters are fun. The characters have such unique aspects to them, each of them, that like fucking Terra has magic, but fucking Saban has like actual Street Fighter 2 combo moves that you gotta do in his fucking blitz attacks. I almost wish that was easier in a remake, but fucking hey, it's like you pull it off and you do a huge amount of damage. And then there's fucking Edgar with his tools that like you fucking run a drill through someone and just rip through huge damage, or you fucking blast them with a horn and it will like confuse and damage a lot of the enemies. It just fucking worked really nicely, and there's a lot. I always really liked Gao, which I think, now that I kind of know more just in general about Japanese stuff, I think that's actually supposed to be like an onomatopoeia of like a howl noise, just like an animal noise. Like Gao is supposed to be what they say like a fucking dog bark sound is, something like that. And so that's what he's named after. He's not even a human being, according to the game's naming system. But he is a human being. He's just raised by the animals of the veldt. And that kind of shit. And that's a whole other section of the game that you have to get used to. That's like Sabin and fucking Edgar are like wandering the veldt. And you run across fucking Gao. And you can go to this nearby town that sells you bait. And you can fucking get Gao in your party by throwing bait. And it's really weird, but he's like kind of a cool character because he's extremely unique. And there's no other fucking character in the game. The closest thing is Yuffie, except Yuffie is fucking annoying because she steals your materia, and then you have to pay her actual in-game money to get her to join you. It's like with Gao, he doesn't require any of that shit. He just requires
150. It's 150 monies.
Yeah, which is not much, really, but still. But
It's gonna take a while.
I always thought Gao was cooler because he was just like a weird. He's like a 14-year-old weirdo who fucking understands animals better than he understands people. He barely fucking he doesn't even talk like human language, but he's on your side and you fucking team up and you can, and I have fucking taught him every fucking magic spell in the game by leveling up him up with every fucking esper. I always thought that was fun to teach him like Flare and Fire 3 and Ultima and that kind of shit. And he could cast it just as well as anyone else if you put in the time to fucking equip him with the Espers. I had him equipped with Alexander a lot, and Alexander's one of the coolest fucking Espers to summon because he fucking like blasts people with a laser. He's like a very steampunk fucking summon because he's like made out of a castle or some shit, and he shoots a fucking laser out of his face that just blows up everyone. It's fucking awesome. And I don't even know where they got the idea from, to be honest, but it's just like I just remember doing that in Final Fantasy VI, and fucking Terra was the master of fucking magic, and I would fucking have her be the go into Esper mode, and she had literally a lightsaber that would level up as she leveled up. So it would become longer physically.
Yeah, I gave her the lightsaber, and then she also had the best magic
Yes, she was fucking
because
great.
of the morph mode.
So she would become fucking awesome, and she would have great attack, she would have great magic, but you could fucking teach everyone that magic, and they had their own individual attacks. Fucking, I remember a Cyan. It's funny because he's named Cyan, and the most memorable thing, aside from saying thou and calling everyone thou, is that he comes from a castle town where everyone was poisoned to death.
That was pretty dark. Dark
Yes,
shit.
yes, by Kefka. Kefka just poisons the water supply. Everyone dies except for Cyan, and Cyan, of course, is short for cyanide, the poison. And so Cyan, and he's like dressed in blue and shit too. And he has sword techs, which if that's the weird thing about his fighting system is that his was the only one that actually required in-game time for you to wait. And he had stronger and stronger attacks the longer you waited, except for I think 8. Was 8 the quad attack, or was 7 the quad or
I
something?
think, yeah, Quadra Slice and then Quadra Slam.
Yeah, that's right. And then, but Quadra Slice was just better to go with because it was fucking like faster and all that kind of goofy ass shit. But he was a good character and he was strong, and his unique attack was different from everyone else's unique attack. You couldn't get it on everyone else. You couldn't anyone else. You couldn't fucking equip it because it's all character specific, just like Gao. You can't equip. His character was based on learning spells and skills from other enemies on the Veldt, which he could only learn while you're on the Veldt. So it took like fucking a lot of. It would take like specific amounts of grinding, where you'd have to leave your party and then rejoin it after fucking like jumping onto an enemy or some shit like that. And it was kind of, I would say it was kind of useless because they were never as good as him just learning Fire 3 or Flare or fucking Ultima or any of those.
Well, there was a few. You couldn't tell what he was able to do. That was the
Yeah,
problem.
yeah, you never really knew what spells he would cast. There was Blaster, which would instantly kill an enemy, but only had a chance to work, so it was like fucking kind of stupid.
And against bosses and stuff, it didn't work
Yeah,
at all.
it never worked against bosses. But of course, there was there's also the gambling guy who you get the airship from, Seltzer
Setzer.
or Setzer. Yeah, that's right.
Seltzer water.
Seltzer Water, who fucking owns an airship, and that's who you get to fly an airship from. Is that it's his, but it becomes yours when he joins your party. And that again, that's just another aspect of Final Fantasy VI. That's just part of the game That's just part of the fucking complexity of it. That's just weird. It's just weird because the airship is like a physical space that you can travel inside of. You can explore the inside of the airship, which they also did in Final Fantasy IV, which was cool because the inside of Final Fantasy IV airship was like a giant Chocobo that would store items outside of your inventory in case you needed to store more items. But yeah, Final Fantasy VI, I would say, is the best in the series story wise and complexity wise, and they should absolutely remake it. Do you have any other stuff to add to that? Because I want to fucking go for a walk.
What, Final Fantasy
Six.
6, 3,
Or
3,
any, yeah, or three. The one
3
with the Moogle.
US.
Yeah, the one with the Moogle on the cartridge. Do you have any more stuff to add? Can you go off on that? Because I want to go for a walk.
Fucking, I don't know.
Or
There's a
any of
bunch
the
of
other
stuff.
games?
There's a bunch of stuff. I'm not sure what you actually mentioned because my fucking thumbs hurt. This was a pain in the ass fight. By the way, apparently people are trying to think that people are trying to speculate that fucking the whoever it is, the floaty boy from MGS5 is Psycho Mantis.
Yeah, some people. Well, it seems the obvious fucking answer.
But I don't think it really is.
It's almost too obvious.
Well, aside from the fact that they're supposed to both be psychic and they float, there's
And they have
nothing in
long fucking sleeves and a
there's
gas mask.
nothing to actually fucking explain that.
There's nothing to explain it, but aside from that, they're pretty much identical characters. Anyways, do you want to wrap up?
Yeah, let me fucking. I got to this part. I beat him non-lethally, so let's see if it actually gives me anything. I guess I
Oh.
pick him up and drop him. Oh yeah, he dropped a dog tag, Psycho Mantis. I didn't try looking for a dog tag with the last what was it, the tank boss, and then
Mhm.
there's fucking
Yeah, I
Mantis.
don't. I can't even imagine how you. Well, maybe if you throw stun grenades into his tank, I guess. I don't know.
No, I did that non-lethally. I didn't even bother to check.
Well,
So,
yeah, a guy
as far as
flies
I
out of that.
know, there's no reward at all.
Well, again, if you're
But then
it
again, I
is
didn't
twin
bother to
snakes.
check.
It is twin snakes, so it's like even if you got it, it's like who gives a shit?
Fucking bitch. Fucking bitch. Alright, what,
Fucking
what,
bitch.
what, 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 fucking.
Uh, anyways, if you're gonna wrap up, do that now because I'm fucking
Hold on, yeah, I'm about to save.
about to
Hold on,
say
what's going on? Is this the minefield? I think we have to go
minefield.
through the fucking caves with the
Well, there's
books.
one. There's a couple of things we're gonna mention. Razor Fist did his review. He posted his review of Metal Gear Solid 5, which fucking excellent fucking review. He was kind of unfair to it, I would say,
Yeah,
which I'm fine with. I don't give a shit if he's unfair to it or not.
he's unfair to it, but if you ask me, more people need to be unfair to this series.
Yeah, because as he pointed out in his review, the majority of the reviews are like 10 out of 10.
Yeah, that's the one. If there's one thing you should get about the fucking game, it's that while it's not the worst game ever, it's not a 10 out of 10.
Yeah. Although, what's funny is that he says it's not even worth a 7 out of 10, which I would say from what I've seen, it looks like it's worth at least a 7 or 8
Yeah,
even.
it's a 7.
As far as Metal Gear Solid
MGS
games, I would say it's a 10.
5 is a 7 out of 10, definitely.
Yeah.
But that's the
Maybe
thing is
maybe
giving it a
even an
10 out of
8 or
10.
9.
Giving it a 10 out of 10, it implies that there's no other better game than MGS5, and that's definitely not fucking true.
Which even Hideo Kojima knows that fucking the Half-Life games are better than the fucking Metal Gear
Yeah.
Solid games.
Alright, I guess, yeah, we can leave off here. The thing is, really, I kind of do want to play this. but I mean, I can't even look up the fact to see if there's any
Yeah.
real reward for getting these dog tags.
Who even knows? I mean, there probably are rewards because I remember in Metal
But
Gear
I'm the
Solid
one who
2
has
there
to
were
look it
rewards.
up, and I can't look it
Yeah,
up.
we'll have to come back to that.
I kind of wanted to get back to GTA 5.
There
I was
was
playing more GTA 5.
Metal Gear Solid, fucking GTA 5. Oh, that's a great fucking game.
Yep.
One other thing though is that as well as Razor Fist's review of Metal Gear Solid 5 is he also recently did a Metal Mythos review of fucking Iron Maiden. And it's like an hour long, but it is excellent. If you even are familiar with the concept of music, I would absolutely say fucking listen to it, fucking watch it. Even if you're not familiar with Iron Maiden or metal, I would say absolutely fucking give it because he digs deep and he's really good at it. I really like his music reviews. No one else really seems to give music reviews quite like Razor Fist does, and I wish more people would. The only person I would say is comparable is
Us.
either well, not just us, but Mark Prindle or who's the guy from Almost Famous?
Yeah, the guy from Almost Famous.
Yeah, the fucking
Guy
he
who had
was
the fucking shirt.
the fucking he died in real life. Fucking hold on, cause I can fucking just Google it. That movie came out in like 2000. I don't know, is that long? That fucking old, but
Yeah, I don't remember his name.
Lester Bangs. Lester Bangs. Lester Bangs was Lester. If you search YouTube for Lester Bangs interviews or that kind of shit, he's very insightful. He's interesting to listen to.
We posted one of his videos, or an
Yes,
interview from like 1982, where he's talking about
yes,
music. He was
yes,
like predicting a lot of the problems with the industry.
yes. Not just predicting, but he was just calling it as he saw it, and it was still the fucking problems that exist today, if they're not even worse today. But yeah, Lester Bangs is excellent. Mark Prindle, I would say, is really good. And fucking Razor Fist, like Razor Fist, almost. He's not that same kind of legend of fucking music reviewers, but you watch his reviews on YouTube, they're so excellently presented, and his editor deserves a lot of credit. I don't remember his name, but they're just fucking good reviews too.
Aaron Gell.
Yeah, whatever his name is, he's fucking good. Razor Fist reviews are good, so you should absolutely be subscribed to his channel. And I would highly recommend his fucking. I would recommend his fucking review of the Queen discography, definitely. But he recently did one of Iron Maiden, and absolutely give that a listen to. I'm still listening to it right now. I'm gonna keep listening to it. It's really fucking good. And also, Razor Fist recently did a review of Metal Gear Solid 5. So fucking absolutely watch that.
He also talks about like the cult of Kojima and stuff like that.
Yeah, his other reviews of the Metal Gear Solid games, or his fucking just his video blogs of the Metal Gear Solid games, absolutely listen to those. Those are an extreme necessity. Even if you're a fucking fanboy faggot.
Which you
Fucking
shouldn't be. You need to stop
yes.
being that.
Yes, stop being that and ascend to a higher plane somewhere 50 levels below us, which is a higher plane than the rest of the human race. We are always going to be on a higher plane than the rest of you, but you can maybe at least aspire to the higher plane that we're on. But yeah, so fucking yeah, watch fucking Razor Fist reviews. He's really good. He's very we call him Spoony 2.0.
I should absolutely. I thought you were good with dogs. I should absolutely punch her right in the nose here.
Yes. Also fucking Dennis Miller. He's very Dennis Miller inspired. And he's very right wing, which is a rare fucking commodity. At least you can consider that. You don't have to agree with him. You don't have to disagree with him. But but at least consider his fucking reviews. There's something to listen to, and I like them. And I like his fucking movie reviews of the fucking of like Cobra and the fucking Dirty Harry movies and all that kind of shit. Absolutely, check that shit out. I like his stuff, and the editor that he works with is really good too. The editing is good in his fucking video reviews, all that kind of shit. Because very quick, it's very snappy, it's clever, it's funny, it's irreverent, that kind of shit. And
Oh
it was
shit, there's a lot more. Oh yeah, look. They put way more mines in the way.
well, I can't look, so I fucking. But anyways, yeah, I'm ready to wrap up, so just fucking close the show off, and I need to go for a walk. So I'm gonna go for a walk right now. So if you have anything else to talk about, go ahead and do that. We can
Alright.
shut down the show.
Personally, I think we kind of said everything that there is to say about Miggles. Or not, but about Final Fantasy VI. I mean, I can't really remember what you already said, so that I don't think I can really add anything at this point. You know, there's a lot of stuff we could talk about, but in particular, what I prefer to talk about is just the fact that how botched the series has become. I think even Razorfist was talking about how Final Fantasy 14 or 15, the new one, the upcoming one, it needs to save the series. This part's fun though. Fucking Meryl gets shot like she just watches the laser beam like a retard, and then oh no, and then she lands on the knee that she just got shot in, and then she gets both of her legs shot off. Seriously, the Sniper Wolf, that's the thing, is they talk up Sniper Wolf as like, oh, this is the best sniper in the world, and women are all better snipers, and then I easily out-snipe her without any practice. And the simple fact is, she didn't get me, I'm clearly the target. She didn't hit me once. This is one of the interesting things that, again, is just missing from MGS2. There's no like sniper battles, and there's no fucking elements where you're like partnered up with somebody else.
Snake, it's a trap.
A lot of this audio, if you can even hear the audio, which you shouldn't be able to very well, but it's like super slowed down because the emulator is a piece of shit, which I'm still gonna be using. Okay, are there still? There are still landmines. Might as well blow them up. That should be it. That should be all I need to do.
Oh, that's all you need to do.
Yep, there.
You
The
still have to fucking go
pro
get
mode.
the Pesca one. I just spilled fucking puke all over my G15.
That's not good. You need
No, it's
to,
not good.
you
I
need
flipped
to go
my-
shut down.
I flipped my entire fucking keyboard over, but when I get back, I'm gonna have to fucking
Yeah.
shut down. In fact, I think I
Shut
need
down.
to shut down one now, but you need to shut off. You're still streaming, right?
Yep.
Go ahead. Just go ahead.
No, I'm saving now, and I'm gonna turn it off. We're done. I just fucking memory card. Luckily, this saves. It loads and saves super fast. Because instead of having to connect to a real memory card, it's just like here. It's just on your hard drive. Here. It's like a second. Just takes a second. So much better. Unfortunately, the rest of the game runs like shit. Alright, this is the end. I'm turning this off.